Hi Katie, today we're going to read a passage called Who is Dr. Seuss? Do you know who Dr. Seuss is?
I've read a couple of his books before.
So he writes books.
Yeah?
Okay, so you're going to read this passage and then afterwards you're going to answer some questions about it. Is that okay?
Yep.
Okay.
Can I start?
Yep.
While many children and adults have enjoyed books by Dr. Seuss, very few actually know anything about Dr. Seuss himself. Dr. Seuss was born in 1904 and was given the name Theodore Seuss Geisel. He grew up in Springfield, Massachusetts, and left town as a young man to attend Dartmouth College in New Hampshire. In college, he wrote for the school newspaper. Geisel created the name Dr. Seuss as a penap he would continue to write under for the rest of his life. Seuss first entered college with the idea that he would become a professor, but a classmate who saw him drawing thought he should become an artist. He soon pursued his passion for drawing. After college, he got a job working as a cartoonist for a newspaper. However, once the United States became involved in wars, Seuss wanted to use his talent to help in the war effort. He worked for the Army making different types of war movies and animated films that were used for soldiers. Publishers who saw his work during the war wanted Seuss to draw a children's book. The war experience, along with his experience as a writer, led him to his desire to write and illustrate his own books. Dr. Seuss had a slow and difficult start as an author. His first book almost did not get published. However, after many months of being turned down, his persistence paid off. Seuss signed with a new publisher. This small success was enough to keep Dr. Seuss writing and illustrating. While writing, he often put on silly hats to help reduce the stress of finishing a story. Shortly after his work was published, Dr. Seuss wrote and published The Cat in the Hat, the book that made him famous. For years afterwards, Dr. Seuss continued to write and draw many books in his own style, which was very different than other authors. He won many awards for his books throughout his writing career, and many were adapted for television and movies. The name Dr. Seuss became very popular in children's literature. Though Theodore Seuss Geisel, also known as Dr. Seuss, passed away at the age of 87 in 1991, his books and illustrations continue to live on.
That was very good, Katie. So now I'm going to ask you some comprehension questions. Okay, so the first question is, when did Theodore Seuss Geisel decide to become an artist?
When he was little.
Okay. What does the word unique mean?
His own way and different from others.
Okay. What is the main idea of this story?
About Dr. Seuss becoming a writer and an illustrator.
Good. After the war, why did publishers want Dr. Seuss to write children's books?
To illustrate what happened.
Okay. Which of these events happened first? Did Dr. Seuss go to college? Did Dr. Seuss write The Cat in the Hat, World War II, or Dr. Seuss got a job as a cartoonist?
He went to college.
Good. Now, on a scale between 1 and 10, with 1 being low and 10 being how well did you like the passage?
7.
7. Good. Why do you think Dr. Seuss books have been so popular?
Because kids like how they sound when the words rhyme.
Okay. Do you have a favorite Dr. Seuss book?
I like The Cat in the Hat.
What makes that your book your favorite?
I like when the silly guy that looks like a cat has the funny hat on his head and runs around.
Very good. Okay, so now what I need you to do is read this passage about shark facts. Do you know anything about sharks?
They're in the ocean.
They are. They do live in the ocean. So you're going to read this passage, but you're going to read it silently to yourself, okay?
Okay.
All right, go ahead. Okay, so now we're going to answer some more comprehension questions.
Okay.
Okay, so which human organ is most similar to a shark's gills?
Her lungs.
The word unique means
Different or one of a kind.
okay. The purpose of this passage is to what?
Inform us about sharks.
Which of the following is most likely true based on the passage above? Okay. Sharks have bones like people. Sharks are only found in a few places around the world. Other fish do not attack and eat sharks. Or other fish do not have teeth.
The first one.
And do you remember what it was?
Sharks and people both have bones.
Yeah. Okay. Which of the following is a fact, not an opinion? Do you know the difference between a fact and opinion?
Yes.
Okay. Shark skeletons are made of cartilage. Sharks are scary. Sharks are mean. Studying sharks is interesting.
The cartilage of the sharks is a fact.
Good. So on a scale between 1 and 10, 1 being the lowest and 10 being the highest, how well did you like this passage?
8.
8.
I like sharks.
Can you draw me a picture that will help you remember what you learned in this passage?
Yeah.
By including as many details as you can on the page.
These are their teeth. They have 3 rows of teeth. Some can be big, some can be small. That's my picture.
You can't remember anything else from the sharks?
No.
Okay, that's okay. And now can you label what you drew?
Yeah. 3 rows of teeth.
Good.
Big sharks. They said is bigger than a school bus.
Oh,
I'll put a school bus.
okay, good idea.
And this one's small. Like a fish tank size.
You did very good. Thank you for your help today.
You're welcome. Okay, so as a student, I think that's a good test. It definitely is easier to comprehend when you're reading to yourself rather than out loud because we're not really thinking about like what other people are hearing. When I was reading it loud, I was nervous and like had to think of what mistakes were made and like processing the words rather than comprehending the passage. The shark story definitely was easier to like reflect upon because I could read it and then think while I was reading.
And then I also think that this would be a good test, but I also think it would take like some time to accomplish. Like a lot of one-on-one would have to happen for this test to be delivered appropriately.